When we went to the camp at the end of July, I saw like at this. So remember when we had like the day when we went to the church and we got all dressed up. Yeah, and it was like we hanged out in our cabins and everything, and we went to the church, right? And it was a huge church, and it was a different church. It was a black church, so they like praised God in a different way, and like the pastor was very passionate, and like I saw the boys actually being touched by God for the first time, because usually they stand to the side, and I was also touched by God, and most of you guys too.
A time where God really like touched me, like our hearts, at least for me, was I remember when we had, I think it was like, was it Acceso? No, it wasn't Acceso. It was Linadora, and we were during worship, and I remember all of us were just like crying our eyes out and like giving our all to God and like just really into it, and we didn't really care what like anybody else really thought. We were just like with each other. And
time I was in my Christian private school, and they came to pick me up, and I was like, what's wrong? What happened? And then we went to the house, and then nobody was home. And then I was like, where's my family? What happened? And then Papi came, and he told me that Chris was in the hospital, and that he took a whole bottle of medicine, and he like, que él se iba a morir, like it's like he was gonna die, like they couldn't get anything out of his system or anything, like none of the thing. It was already in too deep, and like it was gonna kill him. And then we prayed, and the nurse said, it's a miracle, like I don't even know how it happened. It's a miracle that he's even alive, that we got everything out, and that he's fine, and that he's okay. And like now he's going to 3rd grade, and I'm just like, every time I see him, I'm like wow, like it just touched me, and God helped me get through that.
It's been hard these past years with my mom's miscarriages. But it's been good, because throughout all like the suffering in our family, God has still like kept us moving, I should say, because things happen. She lost the baby a few times, but it brought us together as a family, and it brought me closer to God, because I felt like little by little I would drift away. But when he held me like on a little thin thread, when I felt like everything crashed down as she lost her baby, it felt like he was there with me.
I'm gonna cry too. So before I was born, thank you, my dad was an alcoholic, and like at one point he scared my mother. I have 2 older siblings, and I guess like they were happy that I was coming. I was a good surprise as well. But when I was born, 2 months later, he decided to leave, and I thought it was my fault, because I thought like since I was born that I wasn't wanted with him. And I prayed for him to come back. I prayed that I was only 6 years old, and my aunts and my family all remember this, because I would like always pray 24/7, no matter where I was. I'm like, please God, bring him back to me. Like I want him in my life. Like I want him to be with my mom, with like every single moment of my life, because my siblings got most of it. So when I came along, I kind of just saw them separated. And then my prayer was answered, because at one point my dad was like, I'm gonna remarry your mom. I was like the only one who knew, so I was really happy. And then I guess he went to go look for rings and everything. And then he told his sister, he told the family, we're all happy and excited. My mom didn't know. We had a beautiful wedding that was here at the church, and he came into our lives, and he still had problems, so we still prayed, and he's no longer an alcoholic. Like he does not do any alcohol. He's now in the Lord's grace, and like he's thanking the Lord for like everything. He has done some stuff to like our family, but in the end, like I'm just grateful that our God like gave him back to me, that he's like repairing himself, and that this event changed my life for like the better good. Because now I know, because other kids have this problem where they have a parent who's alcoholic and they don't know a way to like, what's the word, like they don't know a way to express their feelings, or they don't have a person to guide them. And this is why it's important for us to be thankful for God, and that we have Jesus in our life, because he'll answer our prayers no matter what, because we'll know that he'll always be there.
It's around about maybe 2 months ago. Some of you already know I was selling my house, and we moved in with our uncle, and I was kind of upset because I felt like I didn't have anyone, because we didn't have anything. It was hard for us because we didn't know what to do. We didn't know where we were going to live. So we didn't have a house. We were in this little room. Like, I was personally kind of upset with God, but I didn't lose any faith because I always kept praying. And I think 2 days ago, we went to go see an apartment, and then the next day they called us and they said that we were going to move into that apartment. And I felt really happy because I know that there's a God and that he's listening to my prayers and he's actually answering them. And I won't be feeling alone anymore, so.
I guess the hardest thing about being a teenager is getting judged a lot. Being a Christian, and since you're out in the world, some people don't think the same way, and they judge you for things you believe in.
I like to add on to that, because most of us grew up in like a family that we're already in a Christian family, or some of us are just getting into it, where it's when we have to tell our friends or like people who like knew us before, because then they'll just treat you differently, because they'll think that some things will be like, oh, is that too offensive for you? Or like, can you not say this and that? Like, it's hard for our generation, exactly, because we're exposed to many things that we're not supposed to be exposed to. And like you said, that we're classified like by our, like whatever we wear, whoever like we hang out with, or whatever we do to our face, our body. And I mean, it's hard because people just classify you, and when you say you're Christian, they'll like look at you differently than from other people. And they won't treat you the same anymore, because they'll be like, they're not gonna like do anything like to offend you, or they'll try to do something to like get you angry, to like not be yourself anymore. And like with the pressure, you want to be cool with other people, but you don't want to be like the weirdo that they keep calling you names or anything.
I think the worst thing about being a teenager is hanging out with the group of friends, finding the right group of friends that you would fit in with, because there's always the bullies, the cool people, the people that's just gonna be saying names to you and judge you, and you really have to find like the right group for you. And if you're not in the right group, then you're gonna be a loner, and pretty much that's the worst thing about being a teenager.
In my perspective, myself, is just because, like, since I'm a Christian girl, my dad and my mom aren't together, and my dad isn't Christian, but my mom is. So whenever I go to my dad's, there's like a different type of how to live there, and how different like way they live. They listen to music that is very different from how my mom listens to music, how my stepmom dresses, how my dad dresses, how like just my family on my dad's side dresses, different from how my mom's side of the family dresses, and like how my mom dresses and how she expects me to be, and how my dad doesn't really expect me to be like, but he accepts me even though I'm a Christian girl. And I know because Andelis also experiences this.
Getting baptized is a big step for me in my life because I feel like once I get baptized, I will be able to get a closer relationship with God, because being baptized is like a blessing, an opportunity to be closer with Him and to get a tighter relationship with God.
I feel like being baptized is going to give me that like relief that I feel like I'm ready for God. Like in the suit, I guess you could say, that's ready to be presented for God, that's ready to be worshiped, that's ready to worship God, that's ready to be standing up there and dancing for God when I do dance.
I wanted to be a Christian because I honestly didn't want to be not a follower, obviously, but I didn't want to be like the outsider. I didn't want to be out of the safe zone. I didn't want to go on a different path than God. And I wanted to like know Him. I wanted to basically get closer to Him and actually talk to Him and know what's happening with the world. Why am I here? And I want to baptize, honestly, to get a fresh new start, because I feel like I will pray and I know He accepts me, but I still don't feel like I have this extra weight off of my chest. Like I have sadly disrespected God so many times. I've tried to fit in school, whatever. I've like tried to be a follower. I've laughed with other people. I've been that kind of kid, and I did not want to be that kid anymore.
A lot of people think that I'm doing it just because you guys are doing it, but I wanted to be rebirthed through Christ, because like what Mia said, that in school we have a different behavior than we have here and at home, and I felt that I just needed to take one out. One of them was unhealthy, and I needed to just be myself, be my Christian, happy, healthy self.
The reason I'm getting baptized, it's like during our classes, I did not want to get baptized in the beginning at all. I thought I wasn't ready. I thought I was rushed a lot. And so I think it was like yesterday, 2 days ago, my parents were like, why don't you get baptized? Because my mom told my dad, and my dad's been through a lot, so he's like fighting his own battle, and I have to fight mine. But like at the same time, I thought I wasn't ready. I thought I was rushed. And so my mom explained to me like, oh, like just because you feel rushed, it kind of means like you're not letting God in, like you're not opening the door. And I mean, I guess I wasn't opening the door, but I had this talk with like 3 of my aunts. She explained to me that it should be in my heart that I should get baptized, and she also explained that like I should be able to like do this by heart, like by myself. Like there was no one pressuring me into this, like my mom, my dad. And then I started crying. One of my aunts comforted me. The talk my aunt gave me, my tia Joanna, like it really like it went through me a lot. But just like hugging me and saying it's okay, like this advice is good, like you're gonna be okay, because baptism is like a big step to like renew your life and to like get rid of your old life, because I mean it's like a fresh start. It's not like physically but mentally.
At least for me, like getting baptized is like the final step of like, for example, like the final step of becoming a professional dancer, the final step of becoming a doctor, a dentist, all that stuff. Like the final step that you take, like getting baptized is like, for me, it's like signing a contract. Oh, I have a relationship with God. I'm here. I'm a Christian. I'm going to do this. I'm in it to win it no matter what. Like I'm either I'm all in or it's nothing, because like for me, like it's just like it's been so much. Like it's just amazing how I've grown, and I just like what Mia said, I want to get a fresh new start and just like cleanse myself and bring myself together.
I've only been Christian for 3 years, and like it's been like the best 3 years of my life. So like before it was very, very different. Like it was hard also because even though I was young, I still had like a lot of like issues in my family, and like they would always be like hurting and like pain and suffering. But now I don't really like face those problems anymore, and if I do, they're like very small things that are happening. But I thank God that I'm here with all of you, and that whenever I need something, that you guys are always here for me.
She's too far.
You're gonna cry. You're gonna make me cry. And that whenever I need a shoulder to lean on, or whenever I need someone to talk to, I know that you guys are always gonna support me in anything. And you guys are just like my sisters, and I love you guys for that. And the reason why I want to get baptized is because these past years before I became Christian, and when I started becoming Christian, was hard because it was like a different transition for me, and it still is a transition. And I just want to be able to get closer to God and be able to experience more things with Him and with all of you.
When I was born, my parents were both Christian already, so growing up, I was already like being taught things about God and the Bible. But when I decided to become Christian myself, making that decision, it was when I came to this church, because when I came, I started dancing with Sarah and her mom. And that brought me closer because I was doing something for God and showing a way how to appreciate Him being in my life. And I want to be baptized because I want to start a fresh start, since like most of you have said that. And starting a fresh start, it gives me the chance to do more stuff, more things.
I became a Christian when my mom and my dad were like separated. It was a hard time, but you know, like with the help of your family and your friends, you can overcome anything, and especially with God in your life. And ever since I was like 4, about to become 5 years old, when that recently happened, my little brother was just born. I felt bad for many things. I thought it was all my fault. God has showed me many things in my life that He wants me to do, but I've always thought I wasn't ready for it. But every single time I start talking to God, and He's like, you know, I have many plans for you. And I'm like, yes, I do, but I'm not ready. And He's like, you're gonna be ready when our relationship is stronger. And when I was 5, I started coming to this church, and I started understanding what baptism meant. Getting baptized for me is like starting a new life, and I want to take that new chance and make something great out of it.